Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Believe it or not, guys, but today, things actually got even worse for the fake news propagandists at CNN. You may have noticed they've been down on their luck a lot lately. Not only has CNN's ratings and reputation been in decline for years, but also, just last weekend, a great number of their reporters blew it on the Covington Catholic MAGA kid controversy. They're still bleeding from that wound too, so it looks like this left-wing news outlet is doing whatever it can to change the narrative in the news cycle. This time it looks like they're turning back to the failed Russia collusion narrative. That old well has been dried for months though. There's been no proof or evidence of anything indicating foul play here. The election was in 2016 for Christ's sake. Over 2 years ago now, but the liberals still think there's a chance here, I guess. Or maybe there's just nothing better they can think of, and they're just desperate enough to use this again. That's why they continue to beat this dead horse. Shit, the horse is more than dead now. This Russia collusion fake news is so dead, it's beaten and ground into mush, and it's been eaten by CNN and shit out again too. Regardless, CNN still thinks they can get their low IQ, senior citizen viewers to buy into this, so that's what brings us here today. This time it's the Mueller investigation that sparked controversy. He's been trying and failing to prove Trump did something illegal for years. He's got nothing though. That's why it's taken so long and he's dragging it out as well. Also, seems like he wants to prove Trump is criminal in any way he can. He's making something up, or trumping something up, you could say, ironically. Basically, Mueller's not interested in finding out the truth, or delivering justice or a fair verdict in court. This is a political attack, plain and simple, and you'll see why as this story unfolds. First, early on Friday morning, the FBI went in to raid Roger Stone's house and arrest him for supposedly being involved in this Russia collusion. Really, I think he's being questioned on other ancillary issues. Sarah Sanders herself said this. That's a tongue twister. Hold on. Sarah Sanders sells seashells by the seashore. There, I did. I'm pretty good. Regardless, Sanders said this could have nothing to do with the president at all. Sure, Roger Stone has been a longtime friend and supporter of Trump, but he's also been around forever, and he's been involved in all kinds of different political things too. Regardless, this whole FBI raid on his house was all for show anyway. Stone is a 66-year-old man with no violent record. If there are any legal issues here, I'm sure there are some kind of non-violent, victimless, white-collar kind of crimes. Mueller could have simply called and asked Roger Stone to come in for questioning, and he would have certainly complied, but instead, we got this whole big FBI overstaffed raid, like Roger was cooking meth in his house or something. And how do we know what this raid looked like anyway? You might be asking how we got video footage of it. Well, fortunately and very conveniently, CNN was there on location, ready to film this whole thing. Check this bullshit out.
This morning, the FBI has arrested Roger Stone, the president's political advisor. Exclusive footage you're looking at right now from CNN as the FBI arrives at Roger Stone's residence in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, taking him into custody.
Certainly looking fake and forced to me. FBI agents happen to be caught on camera at 7 in the morning, raiding an old man's home for being a political advisor? What a joke. Yeah, of course you got the exclusive here, CNN, because someone tipped you off this was gonna happen. They led you to this fake-ass bus like a dog following a treat, or a piece of bacon. This was a setup, clearly. It's a circus being performed by Mueller and his team, in order to not only bolster favor for their fake Russia investigation, but also, this is just too convenient for CNN, who at this time was dying to change narratives after Covington.
Indicted on 7 counts, 1 count of obstruction, 5 counts of making false statements, 1 count of witness tampering. Again, they arrived before dawn there, before 6 a.m. or just after 6 a.m. A dozen officers were told. The FBI agent shouted, "FBI warrant," and you can see it all play out right here.
This is a gross waste of government resources too. America's in the middle of a government shutdown. Clerks and secretaries and other government officials aren't getting paid for like a month because the Democrats won't sit down and make a deal like adults. But they will make a deal to get over a dozen FBI employees to go put on a show for CNN in front of the cameras they got set up there. Really good optics you guys got there, you liberals. First you attacked teenagers last week for wearing MAGA hats and supporting pro-life. And now you're doing the same kind of shit to an older man, a Trump friend and advisor. They're basically harassing Stone unnecessarily. They don't need 20 men to do this kind of shit. They could have had one guy make a phone call and be done with it. But quick and simple phone calls don't make for good fake news videos. That's the thing. And it's funny how the left thought this would look good for them too. But just like with Covington, they've made themselves look even worse when they thought they were doing the opposite.
It's just remarkable to watch, what they call... That's an FBI, open the door. And now they're about to say another warning. FBI warrant. This is called, the the grab shot in the vernacular, and it is remarkable to watch this all unfold.
Not really. You're shooting in the dark and barely anything is visible. It's also just uneventful here. Sure, you got a bunch of cops walking around, but that's not a story. Taking a camera into a police station doesn't automatically mean it's exciting and worth filming. Cops are just cops unless they're actually stopping criminals. This Stone arrest really isn't that big. It's not this big kind of got ya this reporter in the video is trying to paint it as. It's really coming off as forced political theater, which is making Mueller, CNN, and the FBI look biased as hell. Worst part about this is that FBI part too. They're supposed to be neutral, fair officers of the law, but in this situation and recently, admittedly, the FBI has become more and more political. Particularly, they've become leftist controlled and manipulated, and used against people on our side like Trump.
And yes, standard operating procedure for the FBI to show up heavily armed
in
and
riot gear
like this, but they didn't do this for other people connected in the investigation. So it is remarkable that they did this without warning, without any indication to Stone's lawyers beforehand that this would happen.
If this happened without warning, then why was the press there to film it? Seriously, there's no way CNN could have known about this otherwise. Do they really expect us to think they're actually doing real reporting there? And they're good enough at it and did some investigating that led them to believe FBI was going to do this raid on Stone at exactly the right time? That's as far-fetched as a flying pig or a flying elephant. Well, wait a second. There is a flying elephant out there. I just saw the trailer for Dumbo and it looks fantastic. But I think you get what I mean here too. The odds of CNN finding out about this organically are next to none, especially considering how horrible they are at reporting. And this host on their show trying to pretend this whole thing was a pleasant surprise is simply laughable. I can see right through all this bullshit, as many others are starting to too. President Trump, for example, thought the same thing here, as he tweeted this out right after the arrest. Greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. No collusion. Border coyotes, drug dealers, and human traffickers are treated better. Who alerted CNN to be there? I wonder the same kind of things myself, Mr. President, and I'm glad you pointed out the border crisis here again too. It's pretty funny and ridiculous how Democrats don't want to protect our borders now. Hell, some of them are even calling for the end of ICE, the police officers who protect our country from illegal criminals at the border. Abolishing ICE is something our least favorite Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has called for repeatedly. For example, the left hates cops and wants less arresting of criminals, but for some reason, they're totally in favor of wasting FBI resources to arrest an elderly political hack who's never been violent. The liberals are fine with spending millions on the bunk Mueller investigation too, and now we know why. They're pretty transparent, so it's hard to not see that the left just wants to use its power and money for selfish, self-preservation reasons. They don't care about the people or our country, or the law or anything. Trump is the one trying to build that wall and protect us. That doesn't benefit him very much at all. The president doesn't need the wall for himself. He wants to build it to make our country and our people safer, so we can live free and happy lives once again, away from crime and illegals and drug traffickers and all that. So basically, Democrats are selfish and only care about their lives, and they will endanger and worsen the lives of Americans to get their way, like with the border security and abolishing cops. Trump, on the other hand, is selfless. He's given up his very lucrative jobs in business to be our president now for free, and to help fix our problems while he does it. I hope you see how different and opposite these two sides are now, because it's really clear to me. Next, let's take a look at what Roger Stone himself has to say. He was the one being arrested, the one CNN was using to try and slam Trump, so let's take a look at what he had to say on that fateful day.
I will defeat them in court. I believe this is a politically motivated investigation. I am troubled by the political motivations of the prosecutors. And as I have said previously, there is no circumstance whatsoever under which I will bear false witness against the president.
Well put so far. Say what you want about the guy, but Roger Stone really seems genuine and well put together here. He's not freaking out. He's not folding, and most importantly, he's not going to turn on the president, assuming he's even got anything to turn on him about. Really, I think Trump is squeaky clean. He's clear as crystal if you ask me. Think about it. The president's been under some of the harshest scrutiny and the biggest investigations of all time. If he had any dirt to be revealed, it would have come out already. So with that said, I don't think Stone really has any dirt to even reveal. But even so, him refusing to testify against Trump will be misconstrued by liberals as him hiding something, when really, Roger Stone is just being a good friend and loyal supporter who says he won't talk either way. And that's his right too. We all have the right not to speak. It's called pleading the fifth, and it's in the Constitution. God bless it.
I look forward to being fully and completely vindicated. Since I was not contacted prior to the charges today, my lawyers have not talked to the special prosecutors. I don't want to address that question. but I have made it clear I will not testify against the president.
He's really being a good soldier, isn't he? And again, say what you want about the guy, but he's seeming pretty legit and loyal here to me. I know some people think Stone is a quack, and James Woods even called him a political hack on Twitter, but regardless, he's playing this well today so far. I really don't know too much about Roger Stone specifically. Just heard his name going around a lot, and I know he's a political advisor. I know some of the basics. He was on InfoWars with Alex Jones a lot too, so it's not surprising that he was attacked like him as well.
I intend to tell the truth. I have told the truth through this entire proceeding, and I will prove that in a court of law.
How strong are you going to ask the president for a pardon?
I am one of his oldest friends. I am a fervent supporter of the president. I think he is doing a great job of making America great again.
Thanks, Stone. And I agree. Trump is making America great again. And I guess that's part of the reason Democrats hate him and want this to stop. The left-wingers don't want America to be safe and successful. They don't want us to be great because the Democrats' current strategy is to get their supporters weakened and dependent on them and the government. That's why they don't want border walls on our country. It will make the people safer. And it's also why the Democratic-controlled cities in this country have all been going to shit for years. San Francisco is literally covered in shit, and also drugs and trash and homeless people, and the inflation is making it so no one can afford to live there. Detroit is another example. That city's been in shambles, and a town near them, Flint, can't even get water. There's also South Chicago, which is basically a war zone, where murders happen almost every day of the week. And there's a reason why these places have all gone to shit, because the Democrats have been ruling there for generations. They're the ones who made these cities shitty and unstable. The Democrats did this so they could more easily manipulate and rule over the weakened population. In the end, this Mueller investigation is clearly politically motivated. Otherwise, it would have ended long ago. The truth is, if there was Russia collusion, they would have found proof of it already. But there wasn't, so, of course, they won't find any. But instead of giving up and cutting their losses, the left-wingers have doubled down once again, this time resulting in the bullshit political stunt that concluded with CNN filming a fake raid on Roger Stone's home. What do you guys think? Was an FBI raid necessary here? How did CNN know to be there at the right time and place? Were they tipped off by someone? Was this all an inside job? Comment your thoughts on everything below. And thanks for watching No Bullshit. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.